Sione, obviously a lot riding on this game tomorrow. How are you feeling? What is at stake for you and the guys when you run out there on the pitch tomorrow?
Yeah, there's obviously a bit on the line, and maybe it's a little bit of foreign territory for a Scottish team to be in the last week, and there'll be a lot on the line. But we've earned that privilege, haven't we? And we're really excited about it. And there's a feeling in the group that a little bit sad that this is the last week together before we gather up for the summer after the season. So we want to make this last week count for us and work hard for each other. And most importantly, I know everything. There's a lot on the line with the Triple Crown and a chance to stay in the championship, but we want to progress as a team, and that's the most important thing.
How much have you leaned into everything that you can achieve this weekend, and how much are you kind of trying to keep it to one side and just focus on what you actually have to do out there?
Yeah, definitely. I think you keep the main thing, and that's the 80 minutes of rugby ahead of us. And it's been like that for us from the start of the tournament, and we've been playing knockout rugby since we lost to Italy. So this isn't foreign territory for us in that aspect. And we've got 80 minutes ahead of us for us to take another step forward as a group, play better than what we did against France. And hopefully that put us in good stead. But for us, the way that I put it to the group is we've earned the right to be in this game and for those things to be on the line, but those things are not going to consume us or stop us from playing our game. We're going to go out there and, like I've said in previous weeks, live and die by our identity.
I know Ireland have proved a difficult obstacle for Scotland in recent years. What makes you believe that this time can be different?
Oh, definitely they have, haven't they? And I think also being coached by Faz in the summer gave me a lot of perspective on how his teams are run and why they've been so successful over the last 10 years, really. And it's a massive challenge for us, but I'm a believer in all things happen for a reason, and I think there's a reason Ireland are the last game for us, because it's probably the toughest challenge and has been the toughest challenge for us. For the last 10 years. So it's one we're ready for and we're really excited for. And I just can't wait to get out there and have fun with my friends tomorrow.
Given what you've done in the last 3 rounds, and particularly against France last weekend, is it fair to say that the belief has never been stronger within the group?
Yeah, belief, definitely. I think, I've come to the Aviva and maybe playing Ireland in the past where maybe it seemed a little bit more like hope, and that's a credit to them as well as what type of team they are. But we have been building this belief, but I think it's most important you've got to act on your belief as well. There's no point of you just believing and then when we get out there tomorrow, don't act on it. And that's what's in my mind. Yeah, we do believe. We've built that belief within the group, but you got to go act on it now. And we've talked about it throughout the week. Now it's time to go do it.
There's a lot of fascinating individual battles. You'll be coming up against Stuart McCloskey, who's had that fantastic championship. How you feeling about that? You got to know a lot of the Irish centres on the lines, but he's not one. How are you seeing that particular matchup?
Yeah, I'm really happy for Big Stu. I haven't spent a lot of time with him off the field, but I've spoken to him after we've played Ulster or after we've played Ireland. Often he hasn't been playing because he's been behind some pretty good players his whole career, but I think rugby players are delighted to see a player get his opportunity and take it no matter what team he's playing for. So congratulations to him on his championship, and I'm really looking forward to that battle. I think that's the beauty of the Six Nations. Every week you're going up against the best in your position, and I look forward to those type of challenges.
So you talk about not having the experience of some of the other teams that have been over course and distance in terms of winning titles, but the fact that you guys maybe haven't been in this position before, that this is new to you, how much of a factor do you think that can be in giving you that extra, impetus to go out and get the win you need tomorrow?
Yeah, of course, that's a big factor. We want to be the first of our kind, and that's a big motivation factor, but it's not the be-all and end-all, definitely. And, I feel like with this team that I've played for in the last 5 years, in certain aspects, we've been to hell and back together. After that's where my strength comes from, or our strength comes from as a team, is the hard stuff we've been through as well, and to be resilient in those times is what gives me the most confidence that we'll be the best version of ourselves tomorrow.
You obviously don't have a winning pedigree in terms of international, but so many of you at Glasgow have know how to get across the line. I mean, is that the sort of experience that you can lean upon going into a game like tomorrow?
A little bit, yeah. I'm sure it's the same for the Leinster boys. You know, you win so much at your club, it kind of becomes a habit when you go to international, and it's definitely helped. Considering how much Glasgow, the contingent we have within the team, but we know how different Test rugby is from club rugby. We don't want to disrespect that, but I definitely do think it helps. It's helped Ireland for years with the Leinster contingent, and I suppose you know what it's like to be in a winning circle, and you know what it feels like. So there's no bluffing it.
So you mentioned your experiences with Andy Farrell on the tour last summer. What insights did you glean in terms of what's made him so successful and in turn his team so successful?
I think he's a passionate coach, and he's a coach you want to play for, and the boys definitely rally behind him. And also, I think he's been through a lot with his Irish boys, the same way that Greg has been through with us. And when you've been through those experiences together, especially the bad ones, you gain that level of trust between each other that you want to go out there and, I suppose, honour his commitment. I think that was what it was like at the Lions for me anyway. So, he's very good at his job, and he's got to this point of his career for a reason. So I'm well aware of the threat he is as a coach and the game planning and stuff like that.
Sione, Greg and a lot of the players I've talked to you has been somebody kind of controls the mood and the emotion and build up to a game. And I just wondered, what does that look like for you? Is it talking to players individually, or how do you kind of get the guys in the right place before?
I think just letting what comes naturally come out, and I think maybe there's plenty of things as captain that I'm still learning as well, but I think gauging the emotional feeling in the room comes pretty naturally to me, and I think this week's no different from any of the past weeks, to be honest with you. It's a bigger game because a lot of things are on the line, but like I said, we've been playing knockout rugby since the Italy game. So not a lot has changed this week. Just another good prep week that we put everything into, and I know our emotional headspace will definitely be in the right place tomorrow.
Greg was saying yesterday that for 90 minutes before kick-off, he doesn't say anything to the guys. How do you guys control that last bit just before you head out? Yeah,
I speak to the boys before we warm up usually, and then before we run out to sing the anthems. But there's a lot of other leaders who have their say as well. I've got really good chemistry with Darge and Staino from Glasgow, and then Finn obviously played so much rugby with him. So it's not just myself. There's a lot of other leaders there with input before we go out to get the emotional tone right. It's going to have to be right tomorrow. I know that.
Sione, those words you have before you go out, are they emotional words, or are they tactical words, or are they a bit of...
I think it's gauging that, gauging the importance of which one, because sometimes an over-emotional team can sometimes have a negative effect, and sometimes a team that's not emotional enough can have a negative effect as well. So that's your ability as a leader to read the room, and I've learned that through experience, and like I said, that's the type of stuff that comes naturally to me. I don't really have to think about that stuff. It's more the other stuff the admin stuff that I sometimes get wrong off. Sometimes I forget my kit or my boots or something like that. That's the stuff I'm not really good at. So, but that stuff comes naturally to me.
And in terms of the physical battle, you look at games between these two countries. Ireland obviously won 11 in a row, and they've tended to win the collisions. Could you talk about the absolute critical importance of that physical battle tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that's the game, to be honest. I think Test rugby, you go through all these things of game planning and all the intricacies around, line out, scrum, all that type of stuff, or even kick strategy. But I feel like Test rugby is pretty simple. You win the collisions, you win the game. The collisions is the breakdown, the collisions in attack, the collisions in defence. If you can win those three, I haven't seen many people lose when they win those three.
Sione, that's been the case of rugby since your dog. Why do you think it's different this year? What have you guys done this year that makes you more confident that you can match that? Because that's been the problem in the past.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've made adjustments. Like I said before, you kind of go through things with a team, like the Argentina game, like the Italy game, that moulds you as a team. And the last three games has clicked for us a little bit. But to be honest, been speaking about these things for a long time. I think we've just finally put a lot of those things into practice, and I know the breakdown's going to be a big part of tomorrow. Definitely, they've picked some guys that are pretty notorious to be breakdown pests and very good at it. And that's a part of the game that we need to control in order to get our game out there. That's no secret. So I think that's going to be a big area. And then just like I was speaking before, just the collisions straight up. It's just, if we empower our forward pack to win those collisions and get their ball in hand, not just want to, I suppose, give ball to the back line. I think that's been a little bit of our identity before, is that I think the forwards feel like when they go out there, they only just have to give clean ball to the back line and that's their job done. But I think the big changing thing I felt in the room is that, I felt like our pack dominated the French pack last week. And that hasn't happened to the French pack this championship. They've played everyone except England now. So, I would like to empower our pack tomorrow.
Do you feel this do you feel a bit from the forward? I mean, I know you're at the back waiting for the ball, but do you feel a bit from the forwards that, this is there's a bit of buzz there, this is a big occasion and they're kind of gearing up for something special?
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of those forwards have matured. I know Darj has been playing since he's, 21 years old, 22, 23 years old. So he's matured now into the player that he is, and he's ready for this challenge. He's going to be playing against a British and Irish Lion. Same with Jack Dempsey. He's matured into that role now that he's pretty well renowned as an enforcer, so he's ready for that, and he wants to. I feel like there's no coexisting out there tomorrow between your opposite number. It's either you or him, and that's got to be the mentality from the jump.
How has Hugh been tracking this week? Hugh Jones, obviously, he's got used to having to, manage that Achilles over the last couple of years. I'd imagine there was no chance he wasn't getting on that plane this week with so much at stake.
Nah, he's been fine. In fact, we've been getting into him a little bit about coming off, but. He's fine. I know he's managing his Achilles. It's been something that he's been managing since, last year this time. So he's a real racehorse, Hugh. So once all the cylinders are firing, we know what he can do.
So when he said your dabs at the game last week, I wonder what he made of it, and is he coming tomorrow?
Yeah, he is. My dad doesn't speak much, to be honest. So he's been coming to all my rugby games since I was a kid, but he doesn't have much to say after any game, to be honest. He has probably a bit more to say if we lose or if I played bad, more than if we win. Usually if we win, there's not much said. So it was probably a good thing that there wasn't much said after last week, and hopefully he doesn't say anything after tomorrow either.
That's the first time he's seen you as captain?
Yeah, first time he's seen me as captain, you're right. This is my first Six Nations as captain, and the only other time that he's watched me was before last autumn, before I came Scotland captain. So like I said, it's hard to gauge. With Tongan dads are all pretty similar. They don't show their emotion much, so it's hard to gauge his mood around things. But I know he wants this one just as much as I do, and he'll be there to support.
How do you know, Sione, that he's proud of you then, if he doesn't show his emotion?
Probably something that I'm still figuring out, to be honest. But that's my dad, and I've just grown up like that, I suppose, and I think playing rugby, for me anyways, has always been a little bit chasing, since I was a kid, chasing that approval from my dad. So that hasn't changed for me my whole career. So I'm happy to be in the crowd tomorrow because I get to chase it again.
Last couple, please. These are kind of emotions when you get, these are, deeply personal. The chance to make family proud. They're the sort of things that are the hardest part to control when you're going to an occasion like tomorrow. Yeah,
definitely. And that's why I feel like these big occasions, I understand it all. I understand how big this is with the Triple Crown, with the championship alive. But the game of rugby's never changed to me anyways. No matter how big or how many people in the stadiums, it doesn't always go your way. But I don't rock up to the game thinking this is a bigger game than when there was just my old man in the crowd, or when I was playing when I was 12, 13, 14 years old in Frankston. So that's the way I look at it anyway. So it's a lot more to me than winning a Triple Crown or winning Six Nations titles. A bit more for me than that.
How have you, how's the feeling in the camp at the moment, and have you had to keep some players' emotions in check because this could be huge tomorrow?
I think, like I said, we've got to be realistic about it all, is that we haven't been in this situation as a Scotland team ever. And that's just the fact of it. And this Irish team has been here many times. But I think my message to the team is that our journey is no different from any other team chasing greatness. Is every team that has ever achieved their final goal has never been there before they do it. So I don't think our journey is any different to any other team.
The last time Scotland beat Ireland was in 2017. Psychologically, does that play on your mind that this is the stat that you need to change and you want to change?
Sorry, can you ask the question again? Sorry.
2017 was the last time
Yeah.
that Scotland beat Ireland. Psychologically, does that stat play on your mind?
For me, I think it's out there, obviously, and I think if you're being honest, it's out there. There's no point saying it doesn't play on anyone's mind, but I think that's more of a pressure for them than us, to be honest. They don't want to be the team to let go of their streak, or they don't want to be the team to lose at the Aviva in front of, 45,000 or however many this stadium fills. They don't want to be the team to not achieve what they have achieved, over the last 10 years. So I think all those things point to a bit more pressure on them, and they probably deserve that pressure and I think they deserve the pressure of being the favourites in this game. Because of what they've achieved in the past. So yeah, that stuff does exist, but I think that's more of a pressure on them than us.
Last one from me. What's the biggest threat that this Ireland team poses for you?
I think it's their togetherness, really. Like I said, I was really impressed with their clarity in their ins and outs of knowing their game in the summer. They're all super aligned. They play the same style at club, and at international, so they're all really aligned, and I think that's the biggest challenge, is trying to break up that alignment and trying to disrupt their game. Managed to do that last week against the French team, who's very aligned with their Toulouse contingent and Bordeaux contingent at national team, and we've got to do that again to stand a chance.